All right, so the market is taking off like we expected. This is NC Hammer. We keep technical analysis short and sweet. We're getting into Bitcoin right now, and we'll get into XRP, XLM, all the other good ones here in a second. But as we see, we talked about the other day trying to stay above 92,000, which it did. It tested it as support, started pushing up towards the 97,000 as we expected. We could see if it push even higher back up to the 106 range being the all-time high, I guess 109 being all-time high. And as you can see, this chart moved downwards, tested right off the 0.618 on the Fibonacci and used it as support and retraced back up. And so what we could do, if you're getting into this and just learning, you could take the Fibonacci retracement, go from the all-time high down to the low, and we see that it is testing right around the 0.618 again. We may see a little bit of rejection around here. However, the next stop would be around 101 and then 109 again, and past 109, 130. Don't believe we're going to retrace that quick. However, anything's possible. Moving on to the next one, Dogecoin. Doge is doing the inverse head and shoulders as suggested from a previous trade. I believe we are going to start seeing it trickle back up over 19 cents, pushing over to 26 and 29 cents in time. Looking at BNT. BNT, as I talked about, it had the push up, had a slight retracement like this black arrow had suggested. We are getting a little bit of rejection here around 4 or 0.48 cents. However, I think we can be pushing up to the 0.54 cents. I'm ignoring this red. I'm considering that invalid. We have a lot of bullish momentum, 200 EMA, the CM guppy pushing it upwards. Think of it as hot water. It's getting too hot. Can't push back below into this green lined area, and it's starting to push upwards along with Bitcoin. So BNT is also something to keep in mind as it is breaking this downward trend line. Moving on to Tornado Cash, I picked this one up recently. We are also breaking the downward trend line, getting a little bit of consolidation. It is only $7.80. They were not sued by the SEC in Texas for their transactions. However, it is still debatable. It washes Bitcoin money, so it's a very good and very lucrative coin to be getting into, and it has an all-time high of around $400. So $7.80, if you want to grab a couple, now is not a bad time. Not financial advice though. Looking at DNT, it is also trying to push upwards. It is breaking over the 200 EMA, which it was held under for quite a while. And we are starting to see a little bit of support off this orange line right here. And we do want to see it trickle upwards. Breaking over this black downward trend line is very important, but DNT has high potential to increase in price. So just keep that in mind as it is forming a downward wedge. It is still within that channel, so nothing too important right now, but we could see a quick movement up with the Bitcoin pushing upwards. We could see it push up to 4 cents or higher. XRP, what everybody wants to get interested in and learn about. XRP is starting to consolidate still. We kind of ignore this trend line. However, this bigger black trend line is forming a pendant, and we are holding above the 200 EMA. Bitcoin's moving upwards. Everything's starting to look a little bit more bullish. It says up 32% ahead of quarter 1 earnings for XRP. I believe we could see this push and break this downward trend line and push it back up to 2.65 cents, and then moving up to the all-time high of around $3 plus. So stack your bags for XRP. It's very important. Japan's banks are accepting it. U.S. banks are accepting it. ETFs were just approved. BlackRock's going to invest $9 trillion into it. It just needs a fraction. It needs 1% of, every bank, MasterCard, all things in the world. 1% of transactions will push this up to $948. It is only $2 right now. Of it, that will take time. It's not going to happen overnight. But the next all-time high that we could imagine would be $5, $12, and then maybe a retracement. anywhere from $5 to $7. Expect some kind of retracement, potentially $12. And then once it has that retracement, the next all-time high will be absolutely insane. So stack your bags, enjoy the scalps. XRP is a good bet. XYO, I was talking about this a little while ago, right before this pump right here. And that pump alone from the 1 cent to here is about 96% increase. We are holding support of the fair value gap, being these two red dotted lines. And we do want to see that hold for strong support, move along with the Bitcoin market, and eventually on May, see a more substantial push, finishing out this big, massive cup and handle. When you look at the daily, it's very minuscule for what could potentially be. And it is only around a penny and 0.13 cents, we'd say. Finish out this cup and handle, break this 2 cent mark, and has high potential to increase in profit. Also, it is listed on MEXC as of April 30th, which is major news. However, we won't see that push for a little bit. But with Bitcoin pushing up, this will push up as well. XYO is a good bet, not financial advice. XLM also pushing upwards. We tried to hold this trend line, but it did break it. We are still above the 200 EMA. And let's check on the volume for the daily. For XLM, volume is decreasing. Price is still increased. We are at nearly the 50 on the RSI. We could see it break this downward trend line. And just like the other ones, XRP, XAN, XLM, XYO, forming cup and handles, which have major potential to start pushing upwards and very fast. Lastly, what everybody waits for is XCN. XCN is in its consolidation form. You could say that this is what we're trying to stay above, this black line. And we do ignore this, ignore this one. This is more important, this downward wedge and this upward wedge, forming a bullish flag or pendant pattern. And if we take that, we can see that it had a push from here to here being about 200%. Pretty massive gains. When we look at Fibonacci retracement on this, say we take it from this top, move it down to this bottom, the 618 is up here at 0.23 cents. It's a pretty good price point. I believe we could see it tap this, have a little bit of rejection, tap it again, and eventually break out of that and finish out this cup and handle pattern. It being only a penny right now, having potential to be 50 cents, 18 cents, anything above 2 cents is double your money. This is a very, very good bet. If you missed out on the 2,000% gains that happened back here, it's still not too late. You can double, triple, 5x your money on XCN. I highly recommend it. It's definitely not financial advice, but that is kind of what we're looking at for today. Looking back at Bitcoin, everything else will follow what Bitcoin does. And if Bitcoin can hold steady within this area and continue to slowly push upwards, we will see the rest of the market follow. I always recommend Grass token if you're looking for free money airdrops. I'll leave the reference link below. Same with MEXC for lowest trading fee platform, and Coinbase if you want free airdrop money. All those are good bets. I will see you guys on the next one. I hope this is enjoyable and you guys learned something. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. And I will tap in a few more here before the end. LCX, still trying to push above this black trend line. Still debatable on entry, but it is holding above the 200 EMA. Looking at Toshi for a meme coin. Inverse head and shoulders, definitely, but we want to see it start curving back up towards these two yellow lines and breaking them, pushing up to 0.0005 cents. Quant, I brought this up. It is around $77. I was talking around 75. If it breaks this, we could see it push up to 81 and then eventually 100, and it has an all-time high of over $1,000. So $75 into 1,000 is a good bet. Just keeping all those in mind, and ADA. I'd wait on ADA. That's it for today. I will see you guys on the next one.